What's up everyone, it's Tyranitar and welcome back to another Pokemon X and Y revealing video. Earlier this week, I made a video about notable items in Pokemon X and Y that were unreleased, and a ton of you enjoyed knowing what wasn't in the final games of X and Y, and it was highly requested that I make a second video on less notable items in Pokemon X and Y that were unreleased. So I've gone ahead and compiled a second list of items, a lot of which existed in previous generations but were included in X and Y. And while this won't be as exciting as the first list, there are two really unique items at the end, so stay tuned. Let's start off with compatibility items that are in the code of X and Y for compatibility with future Pokemon games. A few of these items are the Rage Candy Bars from Johto, the Castelia cones from Unova, and the colored flutes from Hoenn. And speaking of Hoenn, with the Hoenn remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire coming up, the colored flutes will make a return and will be tradable to X and Y, and that's why it exists in the code. Next up are special berries that aren't obtainable in X and Y. While there are a few unique berries that have competitive use, the majority of these unobtainable berries are ingredients that will probably exist in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire to make medicine and Pokeblocks. But apart from these, there are 4 other berries that actually have a use in battle, and being names of berries, I apologize if I pronounced them incorrectly. The first is the Jaboca berry. This berry inflicts over 10% of damage to the opponent's health when hit by a physical attack. Now that description probably reminded you of another item called the Rocky Helmet, which is an item that inflicts over 15% of damage to the opponent's health when hit by a contact move. But they're not exactly the same. The Jaboca berry, while dealing less damage, inflicts damage for any physical attack, but the Rocky Helmet is specifically for contact moves. But with the majority of physical attacks being contact moves, and the Jaboca berry disappearing after one use, the Rocky Helmet is obviously the better option. But the Jaboca berry still does have its benefits, and could be used with item-related abilities like Pickpocket, Magician, and Unburden. Next up is the counterpart to the Jaboca berry called the Rowap berry, and it inflicts the same amount of damage to the opponent but if the user is hit with a special attack. Now I can see this thing being used by bulky Pokemon, but it's still an odd item. Maybe Pokemon with harvests like Trevenant and Tropius could catch the opponent off guard and constantly harvest more to essentially have a special version of the Rocky Helmet, but I can't see any Pokemon benefiting from running this over other items. The next berry is the Mako Berry, which raises the accuracy of your next move to 100%. While this item is a bit odd, I can see it being used by a lead Pokemon to guarantee a status ailment like sleep. But like other berries, there are other items that could be more beneficial to a Pokemon than this. And finally, the last berry was actually a popular item in the Generation 5 metagame, the Custap berry. The Custap berry activates when you're down to the last quarter of your health, and it allows the user to move first on the next turn. Its next move literally goes to the top of the priority bracket. Now this was a really good item, and it was mostly used with Pokemon with Sturdy to set up extra entry hazards, force the opponent to switch, or my favorite, explode. Fortress was actually an annoying Pokemon in Generation 5, as it would set up on you, and the second its health was low, it would get that Custap powered priority explosion attack. But anyways, I'm not sure why these 4 berries were excluded from X and Y, but like some of the other berries and items, there's a good chance they'll be obtainable in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And finally, the last set of unreleased items are Mega Keystone accessories. Now there are 4 trainers in X and Y that use a Mega Pokemon on their team, each with their own Keystone. Corina with their Mega Glove, Lysandre with his Mega Ring, Diantha with her Mega Charm, and the player with their Mega Ring. There is data for the Mega Glove and the Mega Charm in the game as a key item, but not for Lysandre's Mega Ring. The 2 items being early scraps have a question mark in place of the item icon. But with these 2 items being in the code, it's leading fans to speculating that the player was supposed to receive different Keystones along their journey, whether it was through buying it or receiving it as a reward from important characters like Diantha. But as cool as it would have been to have different Keystone accessories, especially with trainer customization being a thing in this game, I feel like it would have taken away from the uniqueness of each Mega Evolution user, and it's better for the player to only get their Mega Ring. But I am looking forward to being able to customize their Keystone accessory in future games. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and let me know your thoughts on some of these items, especially the 2 Keystones I talked about. There are a few more videos about X and Y to come, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. If you missed part 1 of this video, go ahead and check out the video on the left. You can also hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified each time I upload a video.